The Afia Business Morning. Join me every weekday on the Afia Business Morning as we bring to you a trilogy of business segments. The opening bell, where we see activities from our selected stock exchanges. The global business, where we bring you up to speed on business activities making the rounds all over the world. And we bring the conversation home on the segment Eastern Business Reports, as we discuss business activities and issues bedeviling businesses in the Southeast region. My name is Ubon Kings. Join the Afia Business Morning every weekday 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Exclusive to Afia TV on DSTV channel 254 and Go TV channel 17. The Afia Business Morning. Business unusual.
Top of the morning to you. It's Tuesday, the 10th day of December 2024. And today, as always, we'll be taking a look at our commodity reports and activities from our selected exchanges on the opening bell segment. Business news stories from around Africa and the rest of the world will come to you on Global Business. We'll also take a look at issues affecting businesses in the southeastern parts of Nigeria on the Eastern Business Report. And then finally, conversations around the market will come to you on Afia. The Afia Business Morning takes center stage every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. My name is Ubon Kings. Welcome to the Afia Business Morning. Trading on the floor of the Nigerian exchange is open today. The exchange in London open an hour ago. The New York exchange is yet to open, while in China, opening bells went off at 2 a.m. local time. Welcome to Opening Bell segment. First, before we look at all those activities, let's take a quick look at some business news stories making the rounds. We're starting out from the continental economy, where it's reported that Airbus has cut 2,000 jobs amid Starlink competition. Story has it that Airbus, Europe's largest aerospace company, is set to cut approximately 2,000 jobs, about 5% of its defense and space division, due to losses in its satellite business and increased competition where the job cuts were less extensive than initially indicated by the company. And away from that to the automobile world, Volkswagen is to find new solutions for German plants. I'm interested to know that Volkswagen chief negotiator Anne Max-Winkel has said the unions and management needed to find alternative pathways to a solution for its German plants after the company rejected a proposal put forward by unions as unsustainable. Details of this stories and more will come to you on the segment Global Business. And away from that, let's move on to the floors of our featured exchanges. And like we always will start, the charter begins at home. So we'll start on the floors of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, where the NGX All-Share Index, as of yesterday, closed on a low, falling by 0.11% to close at 98,107.50 points. And the total of 439,678 naira 17 kobo were traded across 9,489 deals, with equity capitalization of 59,471,536,021,871 naira 6 kobo. Now let's take a look at the biggest gainers and losers of the day. I'm interested to know that the biggest gainer of the day was gold bureaus, which rose by 10%. Other gainers were the likes of NGX Group, Tantalizer, AfriProd, and WAPIC. On the other hand, however, NSL Tech topped the losers list with a decline of 10%. Other losers were Guinea Insurance, Diabcap, Dark Communication, and RT Briscoe. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll be looking at activities from other selected exchanges. I'm talking about the likes of the New York Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, the Chinese Stock Exchange, which of course comprises Shenzhen and Shanghai exchanges. The Afia Business Morning and indeed the opening bell. We'll be right back after this time out. Stay tuned. Great to have you rejoin us. It's still the Afia Business Morning, and you are watching Opening Bell. We're going straight to the floors of other featured exchanges, and we continue with the New York Stock Exchange this morning. This in the US of A. And interestingly, it's all dips in index values across board. Yesterday we had a few rises, but today it's completely all dips in index values across board. The NYC Composite TJ is down 0.06%. The NYC US 100 index down also 0.37%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 0.24%. The S&P 500 index down 0.58%. The NYSE FANG TM index is down 1.14%. The Nasdaq Composite is down 0.74%. The Nasdaq 100 also down 0.96%. Away from that, let's take a look at what's happening in the UK. We're stopping up at the London Stock Exchange this morning, where it is mostly rising. The index values across the board, except of course for FTSE 250, which is down 0.04%. FTSE 100 on the other hand is up at 0.48%. FTSE 350, FTSE All Share Index both up 0.47% and 0.44% respectively. And away from here, we move over swiftly and quickly to the Chinese Stock Exchange. And we'd like to start on the floors of the Shenzhen Exchange, where it's all dips in index values across the board. Shenzhen Component Index is down 0.55%. SZSE Composite Index down 0.36%. The Chinese Index is also down at 0.81%. And while we remain in China, let's move over to Shanghai, the exchange of Shanghai, where it's almost the repeat, except of course for SSE 50 index, which is up at 0.08%. However, the rest, which of course includes the SSE Composite Index, is down 0.05%. Star 50 Index is down 1.09%. The SSE 180 Index, SSE 380 Index, CSI 300 Index all down 0.09%, 0.33%, and 0.17% respectively. We'll take another break. When we return, we'll be looking at commodity prices as well as a consumer price watch in the open market. You may want to follow this program, join in on the conversation on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel. Kindly type in the search bar www.youtube.com/@Afia Business. And while you're there, to hit the like button. Remember, you should subscribe so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. You can also join us on Instagram with the handle @Afia Business to be part of our social media community. You have your business morning and indeed opening bell. We'll be right back after this time out. Stay tuned. My name is Ubon Kings.
I am Marvelous Apamaga.
I am Chioma Akbala.
My name is Ifulaya Ndulebadi. I'm living in a market speaking.
You're welcome back, and I am Ubong Kings. It's still the Afia Business Morning, and you are watching Opening Bell right here on Afia TV. It's time to check in on commodity prices, and incidentally, it's upward movement for gold today. On all precious metals on the chart, actually, gold is up. Compared to yesterday, gold and silver were no action whatsoever. But today, gold is up at 1.37%. Silver is also up at a whooping 3.67%. Platinum is also up at 1.98%. Palladium also up at a very huge margin, also of 3.34%. Away from that, let's take a look at the activities as far as energy is concerned this morning. And well, it's mostly dips in index values across board as far as energy is concerned this morning, with just three commodities which are up. Talk about the likes of natural gas, ethanol, and oil Brent, which seems to have become a steady occurrence. Of course, quite lately, it's been the same thing happening over the weeks. Natural gas is up at 3.41%. Ethanol is up at 2.25%. Oil Brent, on the other hand, is also up at 1.83%. However, the reverse is the case for coal, which is down at 0.22%. All Bonny Light, Brass River, and Kwaibo also down at 2.84%, 0.82%, and 0.82% respectively. Now, moving on to industrial metals, let's find out what's happening there. Well, it's a mixture of rises, dips, and inactivity as well. Iron ore, let's start there. Iron ore, no activity recorded. Aluminium, lead, and zinc are down. Values of 0.73%, 0.46%, and 1.25% respectively. However, on the other hand, on the reverse, on the flip side, copper, nickel, tin are all up at 0.50%, 0.55%, and 0.35% respectively. You're watching the Afia Business Morning. This indeed is Opening Bell. Do well to follow the program. Join in on the conversation on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel. Kindly type in the search bar www.youtube.com/Afia Business. And while you're there, do well to hit the like button. Remember, you should subscribe so you get notifications and all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. And while you're there, remember you can join us on socials, Instagram more specifically, with the handle at Afia Business _ to be part of our social media community. Up next, we'll be taking a look at the hikes in prices of food commodities in the open market, as well as hikes in fuel prices. And on that note, I'll see you tomorrow on the Opening Bell when the exchange is reopened for trading. The Afia Business Morning will be right back with the segment Global Business. My name is Ubong Kings. Stay tuned.
Southeast Business and Investment Summit Group, in collaboration with Southeast Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, and Edinburgh Economic City Development (FZE), cordially invite the public to the maiden edition of Southeast Business and Investment Summit (SEBIS). Theme: Remaking Southeast as Economic Powerhouse. Attending will be global business leaders, entrepreneurs, institutions from across the world, key government officials, and leading members of the academia. From December 11th to 13th, 2024, at Amadi Event Center, Enugu, by 9 a.m. each day. Opening ceremony to be chaired by His Majesty Igwe Nemeka Achebe Abogidi, Obi of Onitsha. Summit speech to be delivered by Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Director General, World Trade Organization. Keynote speakers include Dr. Charles Odi, DG CEO Smedan, His Excellency Isaac Ken Parashina, Kenyan High Commissioner to Nigeria, His Excellency Dr. Jakaya Kikwete, former President of Tanzania, Senator Eninaya Baribe, founder, Made in Aba Trade Fair. Over 2,000 investors, 500 women in business, 500 youth entrepreneurs are expected to participate at this historic event. Sponsored by Edinburgh Economic City, Lion Business Park, Sesima, Abuja Chambers, among others. United Nigeria Airlines is official airline of the summit. Be there and take advantage of this rare global opportunity. Signed, Dr. Ifedi Okwena, Executive Secretary, Chief Ben Oranusi, Chairman, LOC for SEBIS.
My name is Ubon Kings.
I am Marvelous Apamaga.
I am Chioma Okpala.
My name na Ifunaya Ndume, but I'm living in market speaking.
The Afia Business Morning. Join me every weekday on the Afia Business Morning as we bring to you a trilogy of business segments. See opening bell where we see activities from our select stock exchanges. The global business where we bring you up to speed on business activities, making the rounds all over the world. And we bring the conversation home on the segment Eastern Business Reports as we discuss business activities and issues bedeviling businesses in the Southeast region. My name is Ubon Kings. Join the Afia Business Morning every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Exclusive to Afia TV on DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17. The Afia Business Morning. Business unusual.
Good to have you rejoin us and welcome to the Afia Business Morning yet again. This is Global Business, where we'll be taking a look at business news stories around the continent of Africa and indeed the rest of the world. My name is Ubong Kings. And here are the headlines that, we're tracking at the moment. Starting off from business news stories around the world of aerospace, it's reported that Airbus cuts 2,000 jobs amidst Starlink competition. And over from that to the automobile industry, Volkswagen to find new solutions for German plants. And to green energy now, European Union puts billion-ton cap on emissions. We'll bring you details of these stories and more right after this time out. Stay tuned. You're watching Global Business right here on the Afia Business Morning, and we will begin with business news stories right here from the world of aerospace, where it's reported that Airbus, Europe's largest aerospace company, is set to cut approximately 2,000 jobs, about 5% of its defense and space division, due to losses in its satellite business and increased competition, where the job cuts were less extensive than initially indicated by the company. The European satellite manufacturers, traditionally specializing in sophisticated geostationary spacecraft, have struggled against the emergence of cost-effective small satellites in low Earth orbit, particularly due to the rapid expansion of Elon Musk's Starlink constellation. However, the implementation of the job cuts scheduled for completion by mid-2026 primarily targets administrative and management positions rather than operational roles, focusing on reducing overhead and fixed expenses. Now, quickly, let's look at something very critical here. An intriguing detail will be found in the second paragraph of this story. That paragraph reads, in part, Boeing has struggled against the emergence of cost-effective small satellites in low Earth orbit, particularly due to the rapid expansion of Elon Musk's Starlink constellation. Now, truth of the matter is, this is what happens when your competitor comes into the scene prepared. Of course, this is as a result of what Elon Musk, his Starlink did. Because of this, Airbus, which is Europe's largest aerospace company, is set to cut approximately 2,000 jobs. This also reminds me of a story I shared sometime last week about a group of companies coming together in the name of, or rather in the hopes of, pushing Elon Musk's Starlink out of business. We still haven't seen the end of this gang up against Elon Musk's Starlink, but then the implementation of Airbus's job cuts is scheduled for completion by mid-2026. But then again, I should remind you real quickly that Starlink is in about half the number of countries in the world as it is right now. So how do you want to fight that? Or do you think they will stop at half? They're really going to expand to more places, isn't it? So, well, we'll see how all of this pans out eventually, won't we? Moving on to other business news stories now, and this time from the automobile world, it was reported that, Volkswagen, the chief negotiator, Ms. Winkel, has said that unions and management need to find alternative pathways to a solution for its German plants after the company rejected a proposal put forward by unions as unsustainable. Maxwell further stated that they continue to need to reduce costs and reduce overcapacity, while speaking ahead of the fourth round of negotiations between the company and labor representatives. Now, for sake of context, let's make some things clear, yeah? This issue has been, or rather is, an ongoing tussle. I mean, the drama between Volkswagen management, employees with labor unions in the mix. Now, as the story suggests, proposals were presented, yes, but parties concerned did not agree, especially the unions on behalf of the staff, claiming it was unsustainable. Meanwhile, just so you know, about 4 proposals have been put up already. But the sooner that unions and management find alternative pathways to a solution for German plants, talking about Volkswagen German plants, the better. Fingers crossed we'll find out how it turns out eventually. Away from that, let's look at stories, more business stories, and this time around from pretty much the world of green energy. The European Commission has set the volume of emission allowances to be auctioned in the first year of a potentially controversial scheme that could push up fuel prices. Greenhouse gas output from fossil fuels for road transport and heating buildings will be capped at just over 1 billion tons a year, with suppliers having to compete in a new carbon market for emission allowances in a system set to drive up fuel prices unless governments take swift action to cut demand. Meanwhile, the scheme, due to start in 2027, is similar to the EU emissions trading system, ETS, launched almost 20 years ago, which forces operators of factories and power plants to pay for every ton of carbon they emit. Now, first things first, the question that comes to mind is, okay, we're talking about carbon emission cap. What on earth is that? A carbon emission cap is basically a limit on the total amount of carbon dioxide. Take note, the limit on the amount of carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gas emissions that can be released into the atmosphere within a specific time frame. This is important. Now, the cap is intended to reduce pollution and protect the environment. Now, according to this story, this greenhouse gas output from fossil fuels for road transport and heating of buildings will be capped at just over 1 billion tons a year, meaning any emission in excess of the 1 billion tons per year will be penalized. That's the key point. Now, not to worry, this is pretty much localized to the European Union and the countries there, not Africa. And even there in Africa, only emits a fraction of the percentage of the world's carbon emissions. So we're not there yet. You're still watching Global Business on the Afia Business Morning on Afia TV. You may want to kindly join in on the conversation on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel and watching live as well at www.youtube.com/Afia Business. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like button. Remember, you should subscribe so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. And while you're at it, also understand that we are available on Instagram socials, yes, indeed, with the handle at Afia Business _. Do well to follow us and be part of our social media community. Up next will be more business news stories from the rest of the world right after this time out. Stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back to the Afia Business Morning right here on Afia TV. You're still watching Global Business. Now to the rest of our stories. And now we're moving on to something similar to the last story we talked about, and we'll talk about stuff that is from the green energy world. It's reported that environmental and climate campaign groups in Brussels have urged the European Commission not to cut operational grants through its 5.4 billion euros life program amid fears of a clampdown on funding for advocacy work, as the European Commission is considering a rethink of funding rules, where the NGOs warn they need public support to act as a counterbalance to powerful industry lobbies. While the life budget for the period 2021 to 2027 already represents only 0.3% of EU spending, when post-COVID recovery funds are taken into account, the amount for funding earmarked for the day-to-day working of the NGOs amounts to a little over 15 billion euros a year. Now, for the sake of context, really, the EU LIFE program, LIFE program actually, is a European Union initiative that pretty much funds projects that will in turn address environmental and climate challenges. Take note of that. Now, this program, the LIFE program, that's what it's called, issues an annual call for proposals. Awards range from between 1 million to 5 million euros for projects that last 3 to 5 years. Now, co-financing rates may vary from 60% to 95%. Let me break this down real quickly. And what it simply means is this is an initiative that helps them take care of climate and all of those kind of issues, which of course by extension affects livelihood and businesses, right? So now, usually they give out a certain amount every year, but somehow it appears they want to step down on it. And you know, those parts of the world, Europe majorly are bedeviled with a whole lot of climate issues, right? If it's not flood, it's landslides, it's not landslides, it's hurricanes, it's not hurricanes, it's tornadoes, any of those things that happen that cause a lot of disruption in day-to-day activity and business activities, all of that, right? And then it was launched, the LIFE program was launched in 1962, but then hopefully, according to the story, we hope that the needed public support comes in to act as a counterbalance to powerful industry lobbies, because if industry lobbies go according to plan, chances are there will be a reduction in this money is being given to take care of these climate-related issues. But then we'll see how all this narrative plays out eventually. And still from Brussels, and in a bid to end this bulletin, the European Commissioner Valdis Dombrovskis has said in a letter to France Minister Mihaly Varga that Hungary's fiscal plans are missing significant information, as Budapest appears to be dragging its feet over submitting a realistic picture of Hungary's economic outlook to Brussels. The Commission also highlights issues with data on economic growth, inflation and interest expenditure, saying that deviations from the Commission's own methodology, need to be truly or duly justified. Unfortunately, Hungary was apparently late submitting its fiscal plans, meaning it couldn't be assessed in late November alongside most other EU member states. Now, let me try to break this down real quickly, all right? For the want of time or lack of it, Hungary apparently was not the only late EU member state submitting its fiscal plans, meaning it could not be assessed in late November, even though most other, of course, other member states failed. But then again, there is an underlying thing here, because Euro News took out the time to tell us more on how this story got to the point it is from 2 years, that's about 2 years ago, on how Brussels recommended the freezing of 7.5 billion euros in EU funds to Hungary over the rule of law concerns. Let's take a look at that report real quickly.
The European Commission has decided to take a strong stance against Hungary. It calls on EU countries to freeze €7.5 billion of EU cohesion funds, as the country has not made enough progress with its reforms against corruption. Hungary's €5.8 billion recovery plan has been approved, but payments will be suspended unless reforms are implemented thoroughly. So in total, €13 billion are at stake.
Hungary has unfortunately not implemented the remedial measures so that we could say that the risks we identified have gone away. We conclude, therefore, that we maintain, as it stands, our proposal on the budgetary protection measures.
The frozen funds can only be blocked if 27 conditions are met, from strengthening the anti-corruption framework in Hungary to improving the independence of the judiciary. The Hungarian government is furious with this decision, but the Hungarian opposition welcome the proposal and hope that EU member states will too. EU finance ministers will have to pass this text by qualified majority, but the vote will be timed so that other issues that Hungary has been blocking won't continue to be held up, like releasing funds for Ukraine or holding up a deal on a global corporate tax.
Now we'll follow with the story and other stories that stay unfold and keep you in the loop. And talking about keeping you in the loop, if you want to get to our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel, watching live, kindly type in the search bar www.youtube.com/Afia Business, and while you're there, don't want to hit the like button. Remember, you should subscribe so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. And while you're at it, also know you can follow us on socials, Instagram, more specifically with the handle at Afia Business _ to be part of our social media community. You're still watching the Afia Business Morning Live on Afia TV. Coming up next is the Eastern Business Report. My name is Ubong Kings. Stay tuned. My name is Ubong Kings.
I am Marvelous Apamaga.
I am Chioma Okpala.
My name na Ifulaya Ndule, but I'm living in our market speaking.
My name is Ubong.
The Afia Business Morning. Join me every weekday on the Afia Business Morning as we bring to you a trilogy of business segments. See opening bell where we see activities from our select stock exchanges. The global business where we bring you up to speed on business activities making the rounds all over the world. And we bring the conversation home on the segment Eastern Business Reports as we discuss business activities and issues bedeviling businesses in the Southeast region. My name is Ubong Kings. Join the Afia Business Morning every weekday 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Exclusive to Afia TV on DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17. The Afia Business Morning. Business unusual.
This indeed is the Eastern Business Report, which is designed to bring you up to speed on business activities, policies affecting businesses and the economy of the Southeastern region of Nigeria. It comes right after Global Business on the Afia Business Morning. Oh well, the countdown is on. It's 2 weeks and about 2 days to Christmas, and a lot of dynamics are playing out with reference to business activities and the homecoming fever. And on today's edition of the Eastern Business Report, we will be looking at, the Unity palaver, cash scarcity, travel and aviation fares. Now, this will form the basis of our conversation here together. My name is Ubong Kings. Welcome. Welcome back. Yes, indeed, it's still the Eastern Business Report. And, well, let's begin with this reality, yeah? The fact that we are in a situationship, if you may, with reference to the Unity, the fact that cash scarcity is biting harder, even as banks shown CBN threat. Now, then, this is the truth, because days after the Central Bank of Nigeria ordered deposit money banks to guard against artificial cash scarcity in the country, findings actually revealed that the trend is still persisting in some parts of the country. And this is not even different in any way whatsoever from what happened about 2 weeks ago, sometime in the month of November 2024 in Imo State. I was opportune to go through the archives of Afia TV to get this report all around the unavailability of cash and how it has not changed from that time to this time. Let's take a look at that reportage, and when we come back, we'll be speaking with my guest who's going to be joining me live here in the studio. Stay tuned.
The last time Nigerians saw a limited flow of cash was in 2023. Perhaps the situation is not as bad as it was last year. There is no denying that banks now dispense limited naira notes to customers. Point-of-sales business owners, generally known as POS operators, here in Owerri, reveal that banks dispense at most 20,000 naira over the counter. According to them, many have, for this reason, resorted to buying cash from business traders. Thus, they are left with no other choice than to increase charges for transactions.
Recently, we are experiencing a scarcity of cash based on banks are no more giving us a reliable quantity of cash that we want. They normally say that they are practicing this cashless policy of a thing. So they normally give 10,000, sometimes 20K as a limit, base limit. So what we normally do, we now go to business owners who sells things in bulk, to make transfer to them so that they can give us the cash that they sell out. Then we do the transfer to them. That's how we normally get cash nowadays. Not from.
So this would make
the market people who have access to cash in one way or the other to sell cash to you. Because when you ask them for cash, instead of them to deposit and pay you, the POS person, they will tell you that you have to buy from them. As of them, we usually buy 500 naira per 100,000. But currently, they have started selling 1,000 naira per 100,000, and some go as far as selling 1,500 per 100,000 because they know very well that we don't have a choice than to buy from them. I mean, this is our business, so we can't just shut down the business because of the scarcity of cash. So we have to cut cash in one way or the other just to feed the society and people, to still keep the business going. And this has affected the price of our business because some people do 400 naira per 10,000, some 200 naira per 5,000, while some 300 naira per 10,000. And I don't know how long this is going to take.
Sonia, another POS operator, believes that this new trend of buying cash from businessmen is a major factor for the limited dispensing of cash in the banks.
So anybody that is in business and say that the person is going to bank or the POS are the ones causing this scarcity money, no, we are not the ones. The only thing I can say is that the only thing that I know that POS is doing that all these business places where we go to collect cash, we are the ones hindering them from depositing money in the bank. Do you understand? Instead of them to after selling, instead of them to take the money to bank and deposit it, we the POS will go to them direct and collect, by them making bank not getting enough cash to deposit.
Smart, who is a customer of a popular Nigerian bank, joined the queue at the automated teller machine for several minutes, only to be able to withdraw a limited amount, to his dismay.
I was not able to withdraw money because the queue there is much. People that are even standing there, most of them, they say that what the ATM was able to give them is 5,000. And there is a particular man there that is there before me. He said they want to withdraw about 50,000 naira. So I can't stay and wait for the man to withdraw 5,000 naira to get up to the amount he wants to withdraw. So even the POS I went, they were not able to give me. They are calling a lot of money. That if I can be able to take 10,000 naira, I will give them some amount of money, 400 naira. Some said 500. So I don't really know. Because I can't see where I can withdraw 10,000 naira with 500 naira or 400 naira. How much debt do I have? And this is money I want to, even that the only amount that is in my account is that 10,000 naira. If I'm able to withdraw the 10,000 naira, how much will I give them as their own charge?
Nobody knows how long this situation will last, as it has been this way since December last year. Nonetheless, there are high hopes that things will get back to normalcy soon. In Owerri, Miriam Onyebule for Afia Television.
We're going to be exploring the dimensions to this conversation right here on the Eastern Business Report after this timeout. Stay tuned. My name is Ubon Kings.
I am Marvelous Akwamaga.
I am Chioma Okpala.
My name na Ifunaya Ndule, but I'm living in a market speaking.
And you're welcome back. It's still the Eastern Business Report, and joining me on the conversation about the Yuletide Wahala, scarcity of cash, plus the fact that, well, a lot of persons want to travel and there's been a whole lot of constraint here and there. It's none other than Mr. Wilson Uche, who is the convener of Aviation Meet. It's good to have you, Wilson, join us.
Welcome. My pleasure.
Yes. Quickly, first and foremost, what are your thoughts on this case of cash scarcity?
To be very frank, I think Nigeria, we are advancing, and at the level where we are, I think CBN is trying as much as they can to get the mindset of the people get used to cashless economy. That is what I see. But then I also read where CBN was actually cautioning the banks about the issue of how having to hoard cash.
Yes.
But then, like I mentioned, I said that we would have grown, our economy would have grown to the level where we should not even have people carrying much of cash. Like me, I rarely, if not for purpose of, there are certain places maybe you want to do something and then they require cash. We should have less of cash and then more of cashless transactions and all of that. Nowadays, you can even pay for your cab via transfer. So we should get to that point, and Nigerians should get used to it. And there's a whole lot it does for our economy. One is that you can easily trace movement of transactions.
Money, yeah.
Yes, you can easily trace it. And then it also leaves us with the less exposure to issues that has to do with theft, in terms of when people confront you and then they collect cash from you. So, but having said that, in our economy, we still depend largely on cash transaction. So I think it's a way, we need to come to the point where we manage the situation very well. I don't see a situation whereby CBN, being the apex bank, will give an instruction and then the banks flout it. I think it's height of indiscipline coming from the financial institutions. If they said, ensure that the ATMs have
cash in it,
then they should do it, because they are the regulatory agency and the supervisory this thing that should also monitor what is going on. They have a reason for that. So, but then, like I said, I believe that Nigeria is actually, our economy needs to drive to the point where we'll depend less on cash, having less liquidity in our economy, and then doing more of cashless transactions.
Okay, now there's a question that comes to mind, because you already jumped to that CBN's directive, and even though in quote sanctions were
actually
mentioned,
yes, they actually.
But then the question is, why do you think banks decided not to do this? Do you think it is more beneficial to the banks not to make, commercial banks now, not to make funds, cash available at their ATMs? Do you think that there's a sinister, I don't want to use that word.
Yes,
do you think there is something else that we are not seeing, that the banks are trying to cash in on?
I suspected two things. One is either they have less cash within their confines and their votes. And two, the second aspect of it is that some of the banks are experiencing issues when it comes to the electronic transaction. Yes, some of them you can't even make transfers. Their apps are not working properly. So people now depend and rely largely on cash transaction. So that is why I said that if there are issues that has to do with electronic the operations in terms of e-operations, then they should be able to sort it out, solve it. Like there are banks, in short, over 4 banks, major banks, experienced a very strong downturn at some point last month. And
I agree.
Headed to this month.
I agree.
Yes.
You see, this thing you say now, I won't say victim, but I was.
I am actually.
You know, because you're trying to make a transfer. As a matter of fact, you don't even know when someone transferred money to you. The person calls you, tells you he sent you money. To open the app, you could not open. Yes. Okay, finally they said they have rectified the issue. Oh yeah, transfer the money. Wahala. Nothing was
actually
happening.
It was so embarrassing for me that I made transaction. I actually transferred and they gave me the receipt. I showed the person the receipt. I moved the receipt to that person. I was a boat guy and I sent the receipt to that person confirming the payment. The guy left, of course on trust. And then 24 hours later, that money has not gotten to him. I had to speak with my bank account officer, who now actually initiated a process for reversal. At some point, that boat guy felt that I sent him a fake alert. So you can imagine what that does to the integrity of our operations and all of that. So now people rely, like now when after getting that off a boat, you say, please, if you have cash, I will prefer cash. So now it's actually putting pressure on our financial institutions because they have to provide enough cash, enough liquidity. Because people cannot just be held down by your failure in electronic transaction and also not have cash to pay. So it's going to affect the economy largely.
Let's talk about transportation now. I mean, you are largely in the aerospace, you know. But let's talk about that one. Now, I know that this period, a lot of persons will want to move from one location to the other, and some would use road, some would use air, but let's stick with air. Now, do you see a reduction with reference to the numbers of persons who would want to travel by air this Yuletide? We're putting it side by side with the fact that there's little to no, in quote, cash in circulation.
Exactly. Actually, it's going to reduce the movement of persons, starting with the fact that there's high inflation. And with high inflation, you find out that the spending power of the people are actually reduced. Why? Because the cost, virtually everything is high. I was told that a bag of rice is racing towards 120,000 naira. And then you can imagine someone whose minimum wage is 80,000 naira, and then that minimum wage can't even purchase a bag of rice. So I think it leads to cutting down or cutting costs, including airfare. Now the airfares are quite high, though we saw a couple of days back a particular airline reducing.
I was going to come to that.
Reducing, but not all the airlines, especially the ones that applies the route, Southeast routes. Of course, haven't seen such reduction. You can imagine a situation whereby you are to travel, make a trip, whereby you are paying as much as 285,000 naira just for a trip of a less than 1 hour trip.
A single.
So you can imagine how many persons can afford such amount of money. So it's actually going to impede largely the movement of people to a very large extent. It's going to, and then you see a situation whereby people will now begin to do something that looks like a priority list. Okay, should I travel? I can easily send the money. Maybe I'm going for a wedding, and then I'm supposed to be there physically. I can easily send the money to that person and then stay, reducing myself or taking away the stress that I will have to move and come back and all of that, and the cost that comes with it. So invariably, it's largely going to affect the amount of persons that travel within this period.
Now, question, just for sake of emphasis. Now, why does it always seem that it is at the end of every year that prices just skyrocket? I used to think that, or I'm of the opinion really, that when it comes to the end of the year, people are supposed to be more loving.
Yes.
I mean,
because of the festivity.
you get, reduce cost and stuff so that more people will come in. But why does it seem like the reverse is the case?
Let me be very frank with you. I think it has to do with the mindset of the people, starting with the mindset of the people. Why is it that it's just particularly when Christians are celebrating? I'm just posing a question here. When other religions are celebrating, it's not as highly costly or as costly as it is. I tell you the truth. In short, during the other festive celebration periods, they tend to cut costs as part of their way of the mood. So I put it that first, it's largely the mindset of the people, because people become more eager to make more money. People feel it is time to spend. So it is time for us to make more money. So having said that, there also should be things put in place, measures put in place, like ensuring that government, knowing fully well that periods like this comes with a lot of hardship as a result of increments in terms of prices. What you do is, within this period, even if it means going into your bank, the food bank, and releasing enough stuffs into the market, flood the market with a lot of goods, it's going to affect, the price is going to come down. Like, let me give you an instance now. Virtually everybody around me now sells rice. it looks like that. Oh, guy, would you want to buy a bag of rice? To a large extent, you have options. If this person is giving me 85, I am seeing somebody who's giving me 84,000, and probably another person giving me 80,000. So I have options to choose. So when such thing happens, it is going to ensure that there is enough option for people to choose from, thereby also ensuring that people now come to their senses and then begin to sell at the right price. You can imagine where somebody buy a particular good at 80,000 naira, and the person is selling 150,000. You ask the person, why are you selling so much, 70,000 naira difference? And the person is it not Christmas? We are celebrating Christmas. And thereby skyrocketing, because these things are not, it is not by the system. The system didn't cause it. It is caused by individuals, persons who are involved in these things. And the best way to tackle it is to ensure that government put up measures in ensuring that the market is flooded with enough goods in order not to allow such price increments.
I think that's a good place to leave you. Thank you so much, Wilson, for coming. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And in case you don't know, this is the size of the package right now on the Eastern Business Report, and you may want to be part of the conversation by joining us on our dedicated YouTube channel, which of course we're live right now at www.youtube.com/Afia Business. And while you're there, do hit the like button. Remember, you should subscribe so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. You can also join us on Instagram at Afia Business _ to be part of our social media community. Coming up next is Onya Afia. My name is Ubong Kings. Stay tuned.